Maya Brooks thought she'd found the perfect fresh start, a quiet apartment, a peaceful neighborhood, and the chance to rebuild her life away from the controlling ex who nearly broke her spirit. But when a simple wrong number text leads to flowers at her doorstep, Maya becomes the center of a scandal that threatens to destroy everything she's worked for. Her mysterious new landlord, Ethan Hale, seems like a knight in shining armor, but his jealous ex-girlfriend Camila has other plans and a photograph that could ruin them both. As neighbors whisper and secrets unravel, Maya must decide, is Ethan the genuine man he appears to be, or is she walking straight into another nightmare? What Maya doesn't know is that her biggest betrayal is yet to come, and it will change everything she believes about love, trust, and second chances. If you're watching this story unfold, hit that subscribe button and tell me what city you're from. I love connecting with viewers from around the world. Maya Brooks set her phone down on the kitchen counter and stared at the half-empty moving box in front of her. Bubble wrap and newspaper covered every surface of her new studio apartment. She'd been unpacking for 3 hours, and it felt like she'd barely made a dent. The afternoon sun streamed through the single window, casting long shadows across the hardwood floor. This place was smaller than her old apartment, but it was hers. No shared lease, no boyfriend's name on the rental agreement. Just Maya Brooks, starting fresh at 26. She picked up her phone and scrolled to her brother's contact. Jordan needed her new address for his weekend visit. Her fingers moved quickly across the screen. Hey Jay, new address is 1247 Maple Street, Apt 3B. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. She hit send and immediately went back to unpacking. The kitchen box held her grandmother's mixing bowls, still wrapped in the same dish towels from 6 months ago. Maya unwrapped each one carefully, running her fingers along the familiar chips and scratches. These bowls had survived 3 generations of women who knew how to make something from nothing. Her phone buzzed. I think you have the wrong number. Maya's stomach dropped. She checked the message thread. The number looked right, but phone numbers could be tricky when you were tired. She scrolled up to double-check Jordan's contact, but her phone buzzed again. But I should mention I recognize this building. My company just acquired it yesterday. Are you a new tenant? Maya stared at the message. Her building had been sold. The rental office hadn't said anything about new ownership. She set down the mixing bowl and typed back. Yes, I just moved in today. Sorry about the wrong number. No problem at all. Welcome to the building. I hope you received the printed welcome packet in your move-in materials. There should be information about a tenant mixer this week. Maya frowned and looked around her apartment. Boxes were stacked everywhere, but she hadn't seen any welcome packet. Maybe it was buried under the lease papers somewhere. I haven't found it yet. Still unpacking. I'll make sure you get one. The building manager, Rico, can drop it by later if that's convenient. This stranger was being unusually helpful. Maya wasn't sure what to make of it. In her experience, landlords and property managers were polite until you needed something fixed. Then they became ghosts. That's very kind. Thank you. You're welcome. I hope the move went smoothly. Maya looked around at the chaos of boxes and laughed despite herself. Define smoothly, she typed back. Ah, one of those moves. Well, you're in a good building. The neighbors are friendly, and Rico keeps everything running well. If you need anything, there's a hotline number in the welcome packet. I'll look for it. Thanks again. Maya set her phone aside and went back to the mixing bowls. This whole exchange felt surreal. She'd lived in 4 different apartments since college, and she'd never had a property owner personally welcome her via text, especially not after a wrong number. But maybe that was a good sign. Maybe this fresh start would be different from the last 2 years of her life. She was placing the bowls in the cabinet when someone knocked on her door. Maya froze. She'd been in the apartment for exactly 6 hours. Nobody knew where she lived except Jordan, and he wasn't supposed to visit until tomorrow. She approached the door carefully and looked through the peephole. A tall man with dark hair stood in the hallway, holding a small bouquet of flowers. Next to him was an older Hispanic man with a tool belt and a friendly face. Maya Brooks? The younger man called through the door. Her heart started racing. How did he know her name? Who's asking? She called back. I'm Ethan Hale. We just texted about the welcome packet. This is Rico, the building manager. I brought your packet and wanted to introduce myself properly. Maya's mind raced. The text stranger was here, at her door, with flowers. She looked down at herself, old jeans, a paint-stained t-shirt, and sneakers that had seen better days. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. This was not how she'd planned to meet anyone today, but the man had been nothing but polite in their messages, and Rico was with him, which felt safer than a stranger showing up alone. Maya opened the door, keeping the chain latched. "Hi," she said through the crack. Ethan Hale was probably in his early 30s, with kind eyes and an expensive-looking coat. He held up a manila envelope and the small bouquet. "Welcome to the building," he said. "I brought these as an apology for the wrong number situation, and Rico wanted to check if your lock is working properly." Rico stepped forward with a warm smile. "Some of the older units have sticky locks. Better to fix it now than have you locked out at midnight." Maya studied both men through the door crack. Ethan looked like he belonged in a boardroom, not a hallway with flowers. But his expression was genuine, and Rico seemed completely comfortable with him. "You really didn't need to bring flowers," Maya said. "I know, but you're dealing with moving stress, and I interrupted your day with the wrong number. Seemed like the least I could do." Maya unlatched the chain and opened the door fully. "That's very thoughtful." Ethan handed her the flowers and the envelope. "The packet has all the building information, laundry hours, trash pickup, emergency contacts. There's also an invitation to the tenant mixer on Wednesday evening." The flowers were simple but pretty white roses and baby's breath. Nothing flashy, but clearly chosen with care. "Thank you," Maya said, accepting them. "Both of you." Rico gestured toward her doorframe. "Mind if I check this lock real quick? Won't take but a minute." "Of course." Rico examined the door mechanism while Maya and Ethan stood in the hallway. The silence stretched just long enough to become awkward. "So, you own the building now?" Maya asked. "My company does. We specialize in residential properties and community services. We try to keep things running smoothly for residents." "That's refreshing. My last landlord took 3 weeks to fix a broken faucet." Ethan winced. "That won't happen here. Rico's very responsive, and we have an after-hours hotline for emergencies." Rico finished with the lock and straightened up. "This one's a little sticky, but it's holding fine. If it gives you trouble, especially at night, call the hotline number. Don't try to force it." "Got it, thank you." Rico nodded to both of them and headed down the hall toward the stairs. Ethan shifted the envelope in his hands. "I should let you get back to unpacking, but if you have any questions about the building, don't hesitate to call." "I appreciate that, and thank you again for the flowers." "You're welcome. I hope you'll consider coming to the mixer on Wednesday. It's a good chance to meet your neighbors." Maya nodded, though she wasn't sure about that yet. She was still figuring out how much socializing she wanted to do. Ethan headed down the hall, and Maya closed the door behind him. She leaned against it for a moment, processing what had just happened. Her phone buzzed with a text from Jordan. "Can't wait to see the new place tomorrow. Did you find a good coffee shop nearby?" Maya smiled and typed back, "Long story, tell you tomorrow at coffee." She carried the flowers to her small kitchen and found a mason jar to use as a vase. The white roses looked perfect against the afternoon sunlight streaming through her window. Maya opened the welcome packet and spread the contents across her counter. Building maps, laundry schedules, emergency contact numbers, and a formal invitation to the Wednesday evening mixer. Everything was organized and professional. At the bottom of the packet was a handwritten note. "Welcome to your new home. We're glad you're here. Rico." Maya smiled. Maybe this place really would be different. She was arranging the flowers in the mason jar when her phone buzzed again. Not Jordan this time, an unknown number. "This is your neighbor across the hall, Mrs. Patel. I saw you had visitors earlier. Everything okay?" Maya frowned. She hadn't met Mrs. Patel yet. How did the woman have her number? She looked through her peephole and could see Mrs. Patel's door was cracked open. The older woman was probably watching the hallway. Maya typed back carefully. "Yes, everything's fine. Just meeting the building manager." "That's good, dear. Always important to know who's coming and going. Have a good evening." Maya set her phone down, feeling slightly unsettled. She understood being cautious about strangers in the building, but something about Mrs. Patel's tone felt more curious than concerned. She returned to unpacking, but her mind kept drifting to the afternoon's events. The wrong number that led to flowers, and a personal welcome from the building's new owner. Mrs. Patel watching from across the hall. Rico's kindness and professionalism. Maya pulled another box toward her and started unwrapping her books. Most were nursing textbooks and medical references, but she'd kept a few novels that had gotten her through difficult times. Stories about women who found the courage to start over, to trust again, to believe that their past didn't have to define their future. As she arranged the books on her small shelf, Maya's phone buzzed one more time. Another unknown number. "Hi Maya, this is Ethan. I realized I forgot to give you my direct number in case you need anything before Wednesday. This line reaches me directly, not just the hotline. Hope the unpacking is going well." Maya stared at the message. This level of personal attention from a property owner was definitely unusual, but Ethan had been nothing but respectful and helpful. Maybe this was just how his company operated. She saved his number and typed back, "Thank you. That's very thoughtful." "You're welcome. Sleep well in your new home." Maya smiled despite herself. When was the last time anyone had wished her a good night? It had been months since Marcus, and even then, those conversations had usually ended with criticism disguised as concern. She finished arranging her books and stepped back to survey her progress. The apartment was starting to feel less like a storage unit and more like a home. The flowers on the windowsill added life to the space, and the afternoon light made everything seem warm and hopeful. Maya picked up her phone and scrolled through her contacts until she found Tasha's number. Her best friend would want to know about the move, and Maya needed to talk to someone who knew her whole story. "Hey girl," Tasha answered on the second ring. "How's the new place?" "It's good. Different from what I expected, but good." "Different how?" Maya walked to her window and looked down at the street below. "I met the new building owner today. By accident. Long story." "Is he cute?" "Tasha, what? I'm just asking. You need some good energy in your life after Marcus." Maya touched the petals of the white roses. "He seems nice, professional. Brought me flowers as an apology for bothering me." "Flowers? On day one? Damn, girl. What kind of apology flowers?" "Nothing crazy. Just white roses. Very appropriate." "Uh-huh. And what does this appropriate flower giver look like?" Maya laughed. "You're impossible. I'm practical. You've been hiding in your shell for 6 months. Maybe the universe is sending you a sign." "The universe is sending me unpacked boxes and a sticky door lock. That's it, if you say so." "But Maya?" "Yeah? Just be careful, okay? You're in a good place now. Don't let anyone mess that up." Maya understood. Tasha had been there for all of it, the slow erosion of her confidence, the arguments about every decision, the way Marcus had made her doubt her own judgment about everything from her career to her choice of friends. "I'm being careful," Maya said. "This isn't about romance. It's just about having a decent place to live." "Good. Keep it that way for now." "But Maya?" "Yeah? It's okay to be friendly with people. You don't have to lock yourself away forever." After they hung up, Maya returned to her unpacking. She worked steadily until the sun began to set, making real progress on the living area. By evening, she had a functional kitchen, a cozy reading corner, and a small dining space that felt like her own. She was arranging her last few items when she heard voices in the hallway. Through her peephole, she could see Mrs. Patel talking animatedly with a younger woman Maya hadn't met yet. "And then he came right to her door with flowers," Mrs. Patel was saying. "Very handsome man. Expensive suit." The younger woman leaned in closer. "Really? That's interesting. New tenants don't usually get the VIP treatment." Maya's stomach dropped. They were talking about her. "I took a picture," Mrs. Patel continued, "just to be safe. You never know who people are these days." Maya stepped away from the peephole, her heart racing. Mrs. Patel had photographed Ethan at her door. That felt like a serious invasion of privacy. Her phone buzzed. The building's tenant group chat she'd been added automatically when she signed her lease. Mrs. Patel had posted a photo. Maya opened the chat and felt her face flush with embarrassment. There was Ethan, standing at her door with the flowers, and there she was, accepting them with a smile. The image was clear enough to see both of their faces. Mrs. Patel had captioned it, "VIP move-in." Maya's hands shook as she read the responses already pouring in. "Who is that guy? Never seen him before. Flowers on move-in day? What's that about? Must be nice to have connections." Maya felt sick. She'd been in the building for 1 day, and already she was the subject of gossip and speculation. This was exactly what she'd been trying to avoid: attention, drama, people making assumptions about her life. She turned her phone face down on the counter and tried to focus on her breathing. But the damage was done. Her neighbors thought she was getting special treatment, and they had photographic evidence to fuel their theories. Maya looked around her almost unpacked apartment. The flowers still looked beautiful in the window, but now they felt like evidence of something she'd never intended to be part of. She set her alarm for her early shift at the assisted living facility and tried to push the group chat out of her mind. Tomorrow she'd talk to Jordan about all of this. He'd help her figure out how to handle the situation without making it worse. But as she settled into bed in her new home, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that her fresh start had just become more complicated than she'd ever wanted it to be. Outside her window, the building settled into evening quiet. Somewhere in the structure, her neighbors were probably still discussing the photo. Somewhere else, Ethan was going about his evening, unaware that their brief introduction had sparked a social media storm in his own building. Maya pulled her blanket up to her chin and closed her eyes. Tomorrow would be better. It had to be. But her phone, face down on the nightstand, continued to buzz with notifications from the tenant group chat well into the night. Maya's alarm went off at 6:30, but she'd been awake for an hour already. The tenant group chat had kept buzzing until nearly midnight. She'd finally turned off all notifications, but sleep hadn't come easily. She checked her phone. 17 new messages in the group chat. Maya's stomach twisted as she scrolled through them. Anyone know who the flower guy is? Looks expensive. Designer coat for sure. Maybe she knows someone in the front office? Or maybe she's just pretty. You know how it works. That last comment made Maya feel sick. She'd worked hard to get where she was, nursing school, state certification, 2 jobs to pay off student loans. She'd never asked for special treatment from anyone. Maya turned off her phone and got ready for work. The morning routine felt normal and grounding. Shower, coffee, uniform, sneakers that could handle a 12-hour shift. These were the things that mattered. Not hallway gossip or photos taken without permission. She grabbed her bag and headed for the door, but stopped when she heard voices in the hallway again. I'm just saying, it's suspicious, someone was saying. Maya recognized Mrs. Patel's voice. New tenants don't get personal deliveries from management. Maybe he was being polite, a man's voice replied. Some companies actually care about customer service. With flowers? Come on, Deshawn. That's not customer service. That's something else. Maya waited until the hallway went quiet before stepping out. She locked her door carefully. Rico had been right about the stick and headed for the stairs. The morning air was crisp and clean. Maya walked the 6 blocks to Riverside Assisted Living, trying to shake off her anxiety. By the time she badged in for her shift, she felt more like herself. Morning, sunshine, Tasha called from the nurse's station. You look tired. Late night unpacking? Something like that. Maya grabbed her assignment sheet and checked the schedule. She'd be working with Mr. Alvarez in the morning. He was recovering from a fall and needed help with physical therapy exercises. In the afternoon, she'd assist with medication distribution. The work was exactly what Maya needed. Mr. Alvarez was 82 and sharp as a tack. He'd been a high school principal for 40 years, and he had stories about every decade of American education. The secret, he told Maya, as she helped him through his leg exercises, is treating people with dignity. Doesn't matter if they're 16 or 60, everyone deserves respect. Maya smiled. That's good advice, Mr. Alvarez. Call me Frank, and I mean it. I've seen a lot of young people get caught up in other folks' opinions. Don't let them steal your peace. Maya paused in the middle of adjusting his ankle weights. What do you mean? Frank's eyes were kind but knowing. You've got that look, like someone's been talking about you and you're trying to figure out if you should care. Maya laughed despite herself. You're very perceptive, Frank. 40 years of teenagers, Maya. I can spot worry from across a room. Want to talk about it? Maya helped Frank through his last set of exercises while she thought about his question. There was something about his gentle manner that made her want to open up. I moved to a new apartment yesterday, she said finally. The building manager and owner came by to welcome me. Very professional, very appropriate. But one of my neighbors took a photo and posted it in the building group chat. Frank frowned. Posted it? Without asking? Yeah. Now everyone thinks I'm getting special treatment or something. Like I have some kind of connection I shouldn't have. And do you? No, I'd never met either of them before yesterday. It was just bad timing. I accidentally texted the owner instead of my brother, and he was nice enough to bring me a welcome packet. Frank nodded thoughtfully. So you did nothing wrong, but people are making assumptions. Exactly. Maya, can I tell you something I learned in 4 decades of dealing with gossip? Please. Frank leaned forward slightly. People make up stories when they're bored or insecure. It's not really about you. It's about them needing something to talk about. Maya finished with Frank's exercises and helped him back to his chair. But how do I make it stop? You don't. You just live your life with integrity. Eventually, they'll find something else to gossip about. Maya spent the rest of her shift thinking about Frank's words. During her lunch break, she finally checked her phone. 23 messages in the group chat now, but she noticed something interesting. Not everyone was buying into the gossip. Deshawn, the man she'd heard defending her in the hallway, had posted, "Can we maybe not speculate about people's private lives? Just a thought." Someone named Jennifer had written, "I moved in last month and Rico was super helpful. Some companies actually have good customer service." But Mrs. Patel had responded, "I'm just concerned about fairness. If some tenants get special attention, that affects all of us." Maya put her phone away and went back to work. Tasha found her during the afternoon medication rounds. "You're quiet today," Tasha said, checking the dosage chart. "Just thinking. About Flower Boy, about privacy, and assumptions, and whether I made a mistake moving to this building." Tasha looked up sharply. "Maya Brooks, don't you dare let a bunch of nosy neighbors make you second-guess yourself. You deserve a safe place to live." "I know, but I was hoping to keep a low profile for a while. Sometimes life has other plans. Doesn't mean you did anything wrong." They finished the medication rounds in comfortable silence. Maya appreciated that Tasha never pushed for details when she wasn't ready to share them. As her shift ended, Maya walked home slowly. The October air was turning cooler, and the leaves on Maple Street were starting to change colors. Under different circumstances, this would have been a perfect evening for a fresh start. She was climbing the stairs to her apartment when she heard her name. "Maya?" She turned to see Rico coming up behind her with a toolbox. "Hi, Rico. How's that lock working for you? It stuck a little this morning, but I got it open." Rico frowned. "Mind if I take another look? Better to fix it now than have you stuck outside tonight." "Of course." They reached her floor, and Maya noticed Mrs. Patel's door was cracked open again. She felt eyes watching as Rico examined her lock. "This strike plate is definitely the problem," Rico said. "I can replace it right now if you've got a few minutes." "That would be great, thank you." Rico got to work while Maya unlocked her apartment. She left the door open so he could test the mechanism when he was finished. "Miss Brooks?" Mrs. Patel's door opened wider. "Everything all right?" "Just getting my lock fixed," Maya replied politely. Mrs. Patel stepped into the hallway, wrapping a cardigan around her shoulders. "That's good. Safety is so important. Are you settling in well?" There was something in the woman's tone that made Maya cautious. "Yes, thank you. I hope you don't mind me saying, but you had quite the welcome committee yesterday." Maya felt her face warm. It was very professional. "Oh, of course. I just thought it was unusual. In 30 years of living here, I've never seen management make personal deliveries." Rico looked up from his work. "Mrs. Patel, Mr. Hale always makes an effort to welcome new residents personally. He believes in good customer service." Mrs. Patel's eyebrows rose. "Mr. Hale? The new owner," Rico said patiently. "Very hands-on. He knows most of our residents by name." "I see." Mrs. Patel's expression shifted slightly. "Well, that's nice." Rico finished with the lock and tested it several times. "There we go. Should work smoothly now." "Thank you so much, Rico. I really appreciate it. Just call the hotline if you have any other issues, day or night." After Rico left, Maya closed her door and leaned against it. Mrs. Patel's questioning felt invasive, but at least Rico had set the record straight about Ethan's approach to tenant relations. Maya was heating up leftover soup for dinner when Jordan texted. "Still on for coffee tomorrow morning. Found a place called Grind on 5th Street. Yes, can't wait to see you. Everything okay? Your texts seem short." Maya smiled. Jordan knew her too well. She typed back, "Long story. Tell you tomorrow." As she ate her soup by the window, Maya watched the street below. Neighbors walked dogs, couples strolled hand in hand, kids rode bikes on the sidewalk. Normal life in a normal neighborhood. Her phone buzzed with another group chat notification. Maya almost ignored it, but something made her check. Deshawn had posted, "Hey everyone, friendly reminder that our building's tenant handbook asks that we respect each other's privacy. Maybe we should focus on building community instead of speculation." Mrs. Patel had responded immediately, "I wasn't speculating. I was asking legitimate questions about fairness." Jennifer wrote, "What fairness issue? Someone got a welcome packet." Maya felt a small surge of gratitude for Deshawn and Jennifer. At least some of her neighbors were reasonable. But then a new message appeared from someone called Bridget K. All I'm saying is it looked pretty cozy for a welcome packet delivery. Just saying. Maya's appetite disappeared. She put her soup bowl in the sink and tried to focus on unpacking the last few boxes, but the comments kept running through her mind. She was folding clothes when her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Maya. This is Ethan Hale. I hope I'm not calling at a bad time. Maya's heart started racing. Hi. No, it's fine. I wanted to check if Rico was able to take care of your lock today. Yes, he did. It's working perfectly now. Thank you. Good. I also wanted to mention that if you ever feel uncomfortable about anything in the building, neighbors, maintenance, anything at all, please don't hesitate to call. Maya wondered if he knew about the group chat. That's very kind. I mean it. We want all our residents to feel safe and welcome. There was something in his tone that suggested he might know more than he was letting on. Maya decided to take a small risk. Can I ask you something? Of course. Do you always personally deliver welcome packets to new residents? Ethan was quiet for a moment. I try to when my schedule allows. I know moving can be stressful, and a personal touch goes a long way. Why do you ask? Maya hesitated. She didn't want to sound paranoid, but she needed to understand the situation. Some of my neighbors seem to think yesterday was unusual. I just want to make sure I'm not misunderstanding your company's normal practices. Maya, I visit new residents whenever possible. I've done it for every building we manage. If anyone has suggested otherwise, they're mistaken. His voice was firm but kind. Maya felt some of her anxiety ease. Thank you for clarifying that. Of course. And Maya, if anyone makes you uncomfortable about this, please let me know. That's not the kind of community we want to foster here. After they hung up, Maya felt better. Ethan's explanation made sense, and his offer of support felt genuine. Maybe Frank was right, this really was just about bored neighbors making up drama. She finished unpacking and arranged her last few possessions. The apartment was starting to feel like home. The flowers on the windowsill had opened fully, filling the space with a subtle, sweet scent. Maya was getting ready for bed when the building's front door buzzed. She looked through her window and saw a woman in an elegant coat entering the building. The woman was tall, polished, and walked like she owned the place. A few minutes later, Maya heard voices in the stairwell. One was Ethan's voice. The other belonged to the woman in the coat. I don't understand why you're being so secretive about this, the woman was saying. I'm not being secretive, Camila. I'm being professional. Since when do you personally deliver flowers to tenants? Maya froze. They were talking about yesterday. Since I decided that good customer service matters, Ethan replied. His voice was patient but strained. Or since you decided this particular tenant was worth special attention. That's not what happened, and you know it. Their voices faded as they moved down the hall, but Maya had heard enough. The woman Camila clearly had some kind of relationship with Ethan, and she was not happy about the flowers. Maya sat on her bed and tried to process this new information. Was Camila Ethan's girlfriend, wife, ex? And why did she care about a simple, welcome gesture? More importantly, how many other people were going to make assumptions about yesterday's innocent encounter? Maya turned off her light and tried to focus on tomorrow's plans. Coffee with Jordan, maybe a walk in the park. Simple, normal things that had nothing to do with building gossip or mysterious women in expensive coats. But as she drifted off to sleep, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that her quiet new life was about to become much more complicated. In the morning, she would tell Jordan everything. He'd help her figure out how to handle the situation. Jordan always knew what to do. For now, though, Maya just wanted to sleep peacefully in her new home, surrounded by her grandmother's mixing bowls and the scent of white roses in the autumn air. Outside her window, the building settled into nighttime quiet. But somewhere in the structure, conversations were still happening. Plans were being made, and Maya Brooks, who just wanted to start over in peace, was already more connected to her neighbors' lives than she'd ever intended to be. Maya woke up before her alarm and lay in bed listening to the sounds of her new building. Footsteps in the hallway, a door closing somewhere above her, the distant hum of morning traffic on Maple Street. She checked her phone. No new group chat messages, which felt like a small victory. Maybe the drama was dying down. At 8 o'clock, she walked to grind coffee on 5th Street. The morning air was crisp, and the maple trees were showing off their fall colors. Maya felt lighter with every step away from the building. Jordan was already waiting at a corner table when she arrived. Her little brother had grown up over the summer. He was 22 now, working part-time at a campus coffee shop while finishing his marketing degree. But he still had the same easy smile that had gotten him out of trouble their whole lives. "There's my big sister," Jordan said, standing up to hug her. "You look good. Tired, but good." "Thanks, I think." Maya ordered a latte and a blueberry muffin, then settled into the chair across from Jordan. The cafe was busy with the Saturday morning crowd, but their corner felt private and safe. "So," Jordan said, "tell me about this long story." Maya wrapped her hands around her coffee mug and started from the beginning. The wrong number text, Ethan, showing up with flowers, Mrs. Patel's photo in the group chat, the speculation and gossip that followed. Jordan listened without interrupting, but his expression grew more serious as the story went on. "Let me get this straight," he said when she finished. "You accidentally texted this guy," he responded professionally, "brought you a welcome packet, and now people think you're getting special treatment. That's about the size of it. And last night you overheard him arguing with some woman about the flowers. Her name was Camila. She seemed upset about the whole thing." Jordan leaned back in his chair. "Okay, let's think about this logically. This Ethan guy, did anything about his behavior seem inappropriate? No. He was polite, professional. Rico was with him the whole time. Did he ask for your number or suggest meeting up? No. He gave me his business contact in case I needed building maintenance. Did he come on to you in any way?" "Jordan, I'm serious. Did he?" Maya thought about it carefully. "No. He kept appropriate distance. His conversation was about building services and tenant resources. The flowers were a simple apology for bothering me with the wrong number situation." Jordan nodded. "So, a businessman provided good customer service, and your neighbors decided to create drama. And now there's some woman named Camila who thinks he was giving me special attention. Who is probably his ex-girlfriend or ex-wife," Jordan said matter-of-factly. "Which means this isn't really about you at all." Maya blinked. "What do you mean?" "Maya, think about it. You've been out of one controlling relationship for 6 months. You're hypersensitive to anything that feels like drama or attention. But this situation, this is about other people's insecurities, not yours." Jordan's directness was exactly what Maya needed to hear. "So, what do I do?" "You do nothing. You live your life. You're polite to your neighbors, but you don't engage with the gossip. And if this Ethan guy continues to be professional and respectful, you treat him the same way." They finished their coffee and walked back toward Maya's building. Jordan carried a small toolbox he'd offered to help her mount some shelves and hang pictures. "Can I ask you something?" Jordan said as they turned onto Maple Street. "Sure. Are you attracted to him?" Maya felt her face warm. "That's not the point. That's not an answer." "Jordan, I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm trying to help you think clearly. Because if you are attracted to him, that's normal. He sounds like a decent guy. But if you're not ready for that, you need to be honest with yourself." Maya considered this as they climbed the stairs to her apartment. Was she attracted to Ethan? He was certainly handsome, and there had been something appealing about his quiet confidence, his thoughtfulness, but attraction felt dangerous right now. Maya was still learning how to trust her own judgment again. "I don't know," she said finally. "Maybe, but I'm not ready to find out." "That's fair. Just don't let other people's drama make you afraid of normal human connection." They spent the afternoon making Maya's apartment more functional. Jordan mounted floating shelves in the living area and helped her hang a few pieces of art. The space was starting to feel like home. They were hanging the last picture when someone knocked on the door. Maya looked through the peephole and saw Rico with a clipboard. "Hi, Rico," Maya said, opening the door. "This is my brother Jordan." "Nice to meet you," Rico said, shaking Jordan's hand. "I'm just doing routine check-ins with new residents, making sure everything's working okay." "Everything's great," Maya said. "The lock is perfect now." "Good. Any other maintenance issues? Water pressure? Heating? Electrical?" "Actually," Jordan said, "the hallway light between the second and third floor is pretty dim. Burned out bulb, maybe?" Rico made a note on his clipboard. "I'll get that fixed today. Thanks for mentioning it." After Rico left, Jordan looked at Maya meaningfully. "See? Good customer service. I bet if I called the hotline about that light, they'd take care of it just as quickly." Maya was putting away Jordan's tools when her phone buzzed. "Ethan." "Hi, Maya. Rico mentioned your brother spotted a burned-out hallway light. Thanks for the heads up. We'll have it replaced this afternoon." Maya showed Jordan the text. "Responsive management," Jordan said. That's actually pretty impressive. Maya typed back, "Thank you. My brother has a good eye for details." Ethan, "Feel free to report anything else you notice. We appreciate residents who help keep the building safe." "See," Jordan said. "Professional. Appropriate. You're overthinking this." They spent the rest of the afternoon talking about normal things: Jordan's classes, Maya's work at the assisted living facility, their parents' upcoming visit for Thanksgiving. By evening, Maya felt more like herself. Jordan was getting ready to leave when Maya's phone buzzed with a group chat notification. Mrs. Patel had posted, "Did everyone see the building maintenance crew today? Very thorough." Someone must have made quite an impression on management. Maya's stomach sank. Even routine maintenance was being twisted into evidence of special treatment. Jordan read the message over her shoulder and shook his head. "Maya, this woman is determined to create drama. Don't feed into it." "But what if other people believe her? What if they do? You know the truth. The people who matter will figure it out." After Jordan left, Maya tried to focus on normal Sunday evening activities. She did laundry in the building's basement facility, organized her work clothes for the week, and called her parents to check in. But the group chat kept buzzing with new messages. Deshawn had written, "Mrs. Patel, with respect, routine maintenance isn't news. Rico takes good care of all of us." Mrs. Patel replied, "I'm just observing patterns." Someone named Marcus, not her ex, different Marcus, posted, "Can we talk about something else, like the broken washing machine in the basement?" Maya smiled. Marcus had inadvertently proven Deshawn's point. The building maintenance was a normal concern for everyone, not special treatment for her. She was getting ready for bed when she heard voices in the hallway again. Through her peephole, she could see Ethan talking quietly with someone she couldn't identify. "Want to make sure all residents feel welcome," Ethan was saying. "If someone feels singled out or uncomfortable, that defeats the purpose." "Got it," the other voice replied. "I'll keep an eye on the group chat. Let you know if things get out of hand." After they left, Maya realized Ethan might know about the gossip. The thought was both embarrassing and reassuring. Embarrassing because she was the subject of speculation, but reassuring because he seemed to be taking it seriously. She was brushing her teeth when her phone rang. Tasha's name appeared on the screen. "Hey girl," Tasha said. "How was your day with Jordan?" "Good, really good. He helped me get some perspective on the neighbor situation." "What kind of perspective?" Maya explained Jordan's theory about other people's insecurities driving the gossip. "That boy is smart," Tasha said. "He's right, you know. This isn't about you." "I know, but it's still uncomfortable." "Of course it is. But Maya, don't let Marcus's damage make you afraid of normal interactions. You deserve to be treated with respect and kindness." After the call, Maya stood at her window looking down at Maple Street. The evening was quiet and peaceful. A few neighbors walked dogs or carried grocery bags. Normal life in a normal neighborhood. Maya thought about Frank's advice. Live your life with integrity and let the gossips find something else to talk about. She thought about Jordan's perspective. Other people's insecurities weren't her responsibility. She thought about Tasha's reminder. She deserved respect and kindness. All of that was true. But Maya also knew that she was still learning how to trust her own judgment about people and situations. The last 2 years with Marcus had left her second-guessing her instincts about everything. Was Ethan just being professional, or was there something more? Was Camila, an ex-girlfriend, jealous of perceived attention, or was there a legitimate concern Maya wasn't seeing? Were her neighbors just bored gossips, or was there something about the situation that really was unusual? Maya didn't have answers to those questions yet, but she was beginning to realize that she didn't need to have all the answers right now. She just needed to pay attention, trust her instincts, and respond to actual behavior rather than speculation. Tomorrow was Monday. She'd go to work, come home, live her life. If Ethan continued to be professional and respectful, she'd respond in kind. If the neighbors wanted to gossip, she'd stay out of it. If Camila had issues with Ethan's tenant relations, that was between them. Maya was finally drifting off to sleep when she heard someone in the hallway again. Footsteps paused outside her door, then continued down the hall. Through her window, she could see a car pulling away from the building. An expensive sedan, dark blue or black. Maya didn't know who had been visiting or why they'd stopped outside her door, but for the first time since moving in, she wasn't anxious about it. She was curious, but not worried. Whatever was happening in this building, she would handle it one day at a time, one conversation at a time, one decision at a time. For tonight, Maya Brooks was safe in her own home, surrounded by her grandmother's mixing bowls and the lingering scent of white roses. That was enough. But tomorrow would bring new challenges, new conversations, and new choices about how much of herself she was willing to share with the people around her. The building's social dynamics were more complicated than she'd expected, but Maya was stronger than she'd realized. The fresh start she'd been looking for was still possible. It just might involve more people than she'd originally planned. Monday morning brought the first real autumn chill to the city. Maya wrapped her cardigan tighter as she walked to work, enjoying the crunch of fallen leaves under her feet. The weekend had given her clarity about the building situation, and she felt ready to focus on what really mattered: her job, her patients, and building a quiet life on her own terms. The assisted living facility was bustling with morning activity when Maya arrived. She found Frank in the physical therapy room, already working through his exercises with determination that impressed the staff. "Good morning, Frank," Maya said, checking his chart. "How are you feeling today?" "Strong enough to give you more unsolicited advice," Frank said with a grin. "How did things work out with your neighbor situation?" Maya helped Frank adjust his position for the next exercise. "My brother thinks I'm overthinking it. Says it's about other people's insecurities, not me." "Smart brother. What do you think?" "I think he's probably right, but it's still uncomfortable being the subject of gossip." Frank completed his leg lifts and moved to the arm strengthens. "Maya, can I tell you about my first year as principal?" "Please." "I was 28 years old, fresh out of graduate school, trying to prove I belonged in that job. The school board had hired me over 3 older candidates, and half the staff thought I was too young and inexperienced." Maya helped Frank with his resistance bands. "That sounds challenging." It was. Every decision I made was scrutinized. Every interaction with female staff members was whispered about. Every mistake was evidence that they'd made the wrong choice. "How did you handle it?" Frank paused in his exercises and looked at Maya directly. "I did my job well and treated everyone with respect. I didn't try to defend myself against every rumor or explain every decision. I let my actions speak for themselves. And eventually they accepted you. Eventually they forgot to question me. New drama came along to occupy their attention. But more importantly, I learned to trust my own judgment instead of trying to manage other people's opinions." Maya spent the rest of her shift thinking about Frank's story. During her lunch break, she sat in the facility's garden and called Jordan. "How's the apartment drama today?" Jordan asked. "Quiet, actually. No new group chat messages. Maybe it's dying down." "Good. Are you working late tonight?" "No, regular shift." "Why?" "I was thinking about what you said yesterday, about not being ready to figure out if you're attracted to this Ethan guy." "Jordan, hear me out. I'm not saying you should date him or anything, but maybe you could just be friendly, like normal human friendly. See what happens." Maya watched a cardinal land on the garden fence. "What do you mean?" "I mean, maybe if there's a tenant event or something, you could go. Not as a romantic thing, just as a normal person being social with neighbors." "There is a mixer on Wednesday," Maya said slowly. "Perfect. Go for like 20 minutes, meet some normal neighbors, see if this Ethan guy is actually worth all the drama or if he's just a regular person doing his job." After work, Maya walked home through the neighborhood she was still learning. The shops on 5th Street were busy with after-work customers. The park on Cedar Avenue had kids playing on swings while their parents chatted on benches. Everything felt normal and peaceful. Maya was a block from her building when she saw Ethan walking in the same direction. He was dressed more casually than she'd seen him before: dark jeans, a gray sweater, sneakers that looked like he'd actually walked in them. She was debating whether to catch up or hang back when he turned around. "Maya," he said, smiling. "How was your day?" "Good. Yours?" "Can't complain. I was just walking back from the park. Do you mind if I walk with you?" They fell into step together. Maya noticed that Ethan kept a respectful distance and didn't try to slow their pace. "I wanted to thank you for mentioning that hallway light," Ethan said. "Your brother has a good eye for safety details. He's studying marketing, but he notices everything. Occupational hazard. Marketing's a useful skill in property management, understanding what people need before they ask for it." They reached the building's front entrance. Maya expected Ethan to say goodbye and head inside, but he hesitated. "Maya, can I ask you something?" "Sure. Are you planning to come to the mixer on Wednesday? I know it might feel awkward given the attention from this weekend." Maya was surprised by his directness. I was thinking about it. Why do you ask? I hope you will. Not because of anything between us, but because you deserve to feel welcome in your own building. If anyone makes you uncomfortable, I want you to tell me. There was something in his tone that made Maya study his face more carefully. Do you know about the group chat? Ethan's expression confirmed it. Rico mentioned there had been some speculation about my visit on Saturday. I'm sorry about that. It's not your fault. Maybe not, but it's affecting you. That's my responsibility to address. They stood in the late afternoon sunlight, and Maya made a decision. I'll come to the mixer, she said, for 20 minutes, just to meet some normal neighbors. 20 minutes, Ethan agreed. No pressure to stay longer. And if Mrs. Patel takes any more photos, I'm leaving immediately. Ethan laughed, and Maya realized it was the first time she'd heard him sound completely relaxed. Deal. Tuesday passed quietly. Maya worked her regular shift, came home to a peaceful building, and spent the evening reading in her cozy living space. The group chat stayed mercifully silent. Wednesday morning brought rain and cooler temperatures. Maya was glad for the excuse to wear her favorite cardigan and boots. At work, she mentioned the evening mixer to Frank. Good for you, Frank said, facing social situations head-on instead of hiding. I'm only staying 20 minutes. 20 minutes is enough to get a feel for people. Trust your instincts. What if my instincts are wrong? Frank gave her a sharp look. Maya, your instincts got you out of a bad relationship, through nursing school, and into a job helping people. Your instincts are fine. It's your confidence that needs work. After work, Maya went home and changed into a simple blue dress and comfortable flats. Nothing fancy, but she wanted to feel put together. The community room was on the first floor, next to the mailboxes. Maya could hear soft music and conversation as she approached. She took a deep breath and opened the door. The room was larger than she'd expected, with big windows overlooking the building's small courtyard. About 30 people were scattered around in small groups, holding wine glasses or coffee cups. The atmosphere felt relaxed and friendly. Maya spotted Rico near the refreshment table, talking with a woman who looked to be in her 50s. Across the room, she saw Deshawn, the neighbor who had defended her in the group chat, chatting with a young couple. You must be Maya. Maya turned to see a petite Asian woman with kind eyes and a warm smile. I'm Lily Park, Ethan's assistant. We've heard good things about you. Nice to meet you, Maya said, accepting a name tag. Can I get you something to drink? We have wine, coffee, or sparkling water. Sparkling water would be great. Lily handed her a glass and gestured toward the room. Have you met any of your neighbors yet? Not formally. I've seen a few people in the hallways. Let me introduce you to some folks. Deshawn's over there. He's on the tenant council. Really nice guy. And Jennifer by the windows is a teacher at the elementary school on Oak Street. Maya followed Lily across the room, grateful for the easy introduction. Deshawn was even friendlier in person than she'd expected from his group chat messages. The famous Maya, Deshawn said with a grin. How are you liking the building? It's been eventful, Maya said carefully. Oh, you mean the Mrs. Patel photo drama? Don't worry about that. She means well, but she's got too much time on her hands. Jennifer, a blonde woman about Maya's age, laughed. Deshawn's being diplomatic. Mrs. Patel is nosy, but she's harmless. She did the same thing when I moved in last year. Really. Took a photo of the maintenance guy fixing my bathroom sink and posted it with some comment about priority service. I think she just likes having something to report. Maya felt a wave of relief. This was exactly what Jordan had predicted. Mrs. Patel created drama out of normal situations. They chatted for a few more minutes about the neighborhood, local restaurants, and the building's amenities. Maya was starting to relax when she heard a familiar voice across the room. Ethan was thanking everyone for coming and giving a brief update on building improvements. Maya noticed he kept his remarks factual and general, no personal stories or individual examples. We're also working on upgraded security features and improved lighting in common areas, Ethan was saying. If anyone has suggestions or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact Rico or use the tenant hotline. Maya found herself studying Ethan as he spoke. He was clearly comfortable addressing the group, but there was nothing showy about his presentation. He seemed genuinely interested in answering questions and addressing concerns. He's good at this, Jennifer said quietly. What do you mean? Community management. The last company that owned this building sent us form letters and raised rent every year. Ethan actually listens to what people need. When Ethan finished his remarks, People began moving around the room again. Maya was talking with Deshawn about the neighborhood park when she noticed a woman enter the room. It was Camila, the woman she'd seen in the expensive coat. Tonight she wore a sleek black dress and heels that clicked across the floor as she made her way toward Ethan. "Excuse me for a moment," Ethan said to the couple he'd been talking with. He intercepted Camila near the door, and they stepped into the hallway for a private conversation. Maya couldn't hear what they were saying, but their body language was tense. Camila was gesturing animatedly, while Ethan remained still and composed. "That's his ex-girlfriend," Lily said quietly, appearing at Maya's shoulder. Maya startled. "Oh, I didn't mean to stare. It's okay. She shows up sometimes. Usually when she wants something." "Are they? Do they still?" "No. They broke up about 6 months ago. She had very specific ideas about how Ethan should run his business and live his life. He disagreed." Maya watched as Camila pulled out her phone and showed Ethan something on the screen. His expression tightened. "If you'll excuse me," Lily said, heading toward the hallway. Maya turned back to Deshawn and Jennifer, but she was distracted by whatever was happening in the hall. A few minutes later, Camila left the building, and Ethan returned to the room. He looked calm, but Maya could see tension in his shoulders. Maya glanced at her watch. She'd been at the mixer for exactly 20 minutes. Time to honor her commitment to herself and leave. She was saying goodbye to Jennifer and Deshawn when Ethan approached. "Thank you for coming," he said. "I hope you had a chance to meet some good people." "I did. Everyone's been very welcoming." "I'm glad." Ethan hesitated, then said, "Maya, could I walk you upstairs? There's something I'd like to discuss." Maya's heart rate picked up, but Ethan's expression was serious, not romantic. "Of course." They said goodbye to Lily and Rico, then headed for the stairwell. The building was quiet compared to the gentle buzz of the mixer. "Is everything okay?" Maya asked as they climbed to the 3rd floor. "That depends on your perspective," Ethan said. "Camila showed me something tonight that I think you should know about." They reached Maya's door, and she unlocked it but didn't invite him in. "What kind of something?" "A blog post that my company's communications team published this afternoon. It's about community building and welcoming new residents. It includes a story about a recent move-in that went smoothly because of good coordination between management and tenants." Maya's stomach dropped. "Does it mention me specifically?" "No names, but the details are specific enough that anyone who knows about Saturday might make the connection." Maya leaned against her doorframe. "So now it's not just building gossip, it's public marketing material. The post is already down. I had it removed as soon as Camila showed it to me. But Maya, I'm sorry. This was supposed to be about good customer service, not about putting you in an uncomfortable position." Maya looked at Ethan's expression and saw genuine regret. He wasn't making excuses or deflecting responsibility. "Why did Camila show you this?" "Because she knows it would upset me, and because she wants to prove that my business practices are unprofessional." "Are they?" Ethan met her eyes directly. "I don't think so, but I'm realizing that my intentions don't matter if the result is making residents uncomfortable." Maya stood in her doorway, processing this information. The blog post felt like a violation of her privacy, even without her name attached. But Ethan's response, immediate removal, and a direct apology felt appropriate. "What happens now?" Maya asked. "Now I change how my company handles these communications. No more resident stories without explicit written permission. And, Maya, yes? I want you to know that if you prefer me to handle all your building concerns through Rico, I'll respect that completely." Maya studied Ethan's face. He was offering to step back, to remove himself from their interactions entirely. It was exactly what someone in his position should offer. But Maya realized she didn't want him to disappear. Despite the complications, despite the gossip and the blog post and Camila's interference, Ethan had been nothing but respectful and responsive to her actual concerns. "I don't think that's necessary," Maya said, "but maybe we should be more careful about appearances." "Agreed. No more hallway conversations that could be misinterpreted. No more personal deliveries. Everything through proper channels. Unless there's an emergency." "Unless there's an emergency," Ethan confirmed. They stood in the hallway for another moment, and Maya realized this felt like a turning point. They were establishing boundaries that respected both the building's social dynamics and their own comfort levels. "Thank you for telling me about the blog post," Maya said. "Thank you for giving me a chance to explain." After Ethan left, Maya closed her door and leaned against it. The mixer had gone better than expected, But the blog post revelation added a new layer of complexity. She changed into pajamas and made herself a cup of tea. As she sat by her window, watching the evening settle over Maple Street, Maya thought about the choices she was making. She could have asked Ethan to step back completely. She could have decided the building was too complicated and looked for a new place to live. She could have let other people's opinions and assumptions drive her decisions. But Maya Brooks was stronger than that. She'd survived Marcus's attempts to control her choices. She'd built a career helping people who needed compassion and dignity. She'd learned to trust her own judgment about what was right and wrong. Ethan had made a mistake with the blog post, but his response had been immediate and appropriate. The neighbors who mattered, Deshawn, Jennifer, Rico, were reasonable people who understood that building management sometimes involved personal interaction. Mrs. Patel would probably find something new to gossip about soon. Camila would continue to interfere in Ethan's business until he set firmer boundaries with her. None of that was Maya's responsibility to fix. Maya's responsibility was to live her life with integrity, treat people with respect, and build the peaceful home she'd been working toward. As she got ready for bed, Maya felt something she hadn't experienced in months: confidence in her own judgment. She'd navigated a complex social situation, made decisions based on actual behavior rather than speculation, and established appropriate boundaries with a man who seemed genuinely decent. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but Maya was ready for them. She was finally learning to trust herself again, one careful decision at a time. Outside her window, the building settled into nighttime quiet, but for the first time since moving in, Maya felt like she truly belonged here. Not because of flowers or special treatment, but because she'd found her place in the community on her own terms. The fresh start she'd been looking for was real, and it was just beginning.